The Holy Gospel, according to Mark, the 9th chapter. Jesus and the disciples went on and passed through Galilee. He did not want anyone to know it, for he was teaching his disciples, saying to them, "The Son of Man is to be betrayed into human hands, and they will kill him. And 3 days after being killed, he will rise again." But they did not understand what he was saying, and were afraid to ask him. Then they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent, for on the way they had argued with one another who was the greatest. He sat down, called the 12, and said to them, "Whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all." Then he took a little child and put it among them, and taking it in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Please be seated. The gospel lesson is read today for 8 verses, has a ton of subject matter. Any decent pastor or priest could find enough inspiration to preach at least 3 lengthy sermons. I've been out of the experience and practice for some years now, a decade or longer. I just kind of jumped on 3 little topics in those 8 verses. The first concerns sharing. Jesus is teaching his disciples. They are still trying to figure out each other. And from experience, and we're taught also that if you share your burdens, if you share something on your mind, it gives you kind of a sense of relief that someone else knows about it and is there for your support. Kind of like asking for a prayer chain, that Jesus is sharing his emotions, his vision, his knowledge of the future. I mean, the man knows he's going to be given up. He's going to be betrayed. He's going to probably be tortured. And he's going to surrender his life. But he also knows that 3 days hence, he will be raised and return. Regarding sharing, first thing that came to my mind, and I've been humming it, unfortunately, ever since for over a week now, is a song by a rock band from the 70s, the Eagles. I don't know why this song sticks in my craw, because the Eagles never be. I know some of the Eagles personnel and musicians personally from times past, but this one song came to mind about sharing. I believe the name of the song is "Taking It Easy." And with my apologies to the band, walking down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 12 apostles on my mind. Jesus is walking down the road with the 12, and he's sharing his feelings, his emotions, and the disciples don't know quite how to take this, and they learned from the 8th chapter of Mark. The apostle chastised Jesus for telling them about his imminent death. And Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." And they dasn't want to incur that response again. So twice in this gospel lesson, the disciples are reticent to express their feelings, their doubt to Jesus, because at this point in their ministry, they're not certain of exactly what his reaction may be. The second point that jumped out at me is humility. If you want to be first, you must be last and serve those others. This hit home with me just this past week. I spent some time, almost a week, at the largest adult dance party in the world. It's in Ocean Drive, South Carolina. And at this, it's a big shag dance party. And we go there, and some of us partake of the lessons and workshops that are offered. And this one workshop in particular struck me with this passage of the gospel today. The lead instructor of the workshop, we pair up, male and female, and myself, being single again now, I was paired with this lady, and she is a renowned shag instructor on her own right, teaching the dance. Well, she has me, and we're into positions, and we're performing this step, and she says, "Now, Herbert, if you would do this instead of what you're doing," and I consider myself a pretty fair dancer. Well, she is giving me instruction, saying, "Now, if you lean this way, or you give this step back, it will be so much better." So I'm taking her advice, and she's like, there you go. And about that time, the lead instructor comes up to us, and he taps her on the shoulder. He said, "Gladys, if you would do this, or if you would step this way." And she said, "Yes, Claude." So the instructor walked away. She looked at me and she said, "Well, Herb, that is that." And it wound up being the teacher teaching a teacher, and in the process being taught. So the teacher became the student. And that is kind of what Jesus is, I think, trying to get across to his disciples, that as worthy as you may feel, as important as you may feel, put yourself last and serve others. This coming from the ultimate teacher who washed the feet of his disciples and others. So If you want to achieve, get to the back of the line and strive, work hard. The other little tidbit that jumped on me, I'm afraid when I read the Gospels and read the Bible, it's kind of like when I name a dog. The first thing when I see a future pet, the first thing pops in my mind, that's what I named the dog. It can get a little testy sometimes, but I thought about this child, and I'll think of it as an infant, less than a year old, a toddler maybe. And Jesus tells him, if you welcome this young child into your midst, you're welcoming me. But not only me are you welcoming, you're welcoming the one who sent me, my Father. And I was thinking that this little chap, this child that he's holding, is he actually talking about the child, or is there some symbolism here? And I interpreted the child to be a symbol of the faithful and the faithless in the world, in their world, Jesus' world, at this time. Jesus was sent as a Savior, and I think he was trying to stress that this small child, the people around us, around you, the disciples, the people of no faith, the Gentiles, the people of weak faith, the Jews, bear with them, welcome them, bring them into your midst. And I think that's what struck me with the child, not just welcoming the little children, because the children at that time were at the low end of the totem pole. You've heard it said children should be seen, not heard. Back in these biblical Jesus time, they were not even really wanted to be seen. So they were very low on the totem pole. So I'm thinking that it just struck me as a symbol that the little child represented faith, the lack of faith. That's about it for the thinking on the gospel today. If I may have a minute of personal privilege here. As I mentioned, I was a participant in the world's largest adult dance party. Are any of you familiar with the Lutheran College, the Lutheran University in North Carolina? Lenore Ryan? It was founded 1890s as Lenore College. One of my dance partners during the week was Teresa Marie. And we took part in several dance classes, and after each class, she would ask somebody to take our picture in a dance pose. And I asked her, I said, would you send me a picture? So she said, sure. So I gave her my cell phone number, and she texted me a picture, and I immediately texted her back. because her last name was Ryan, just like Lenore Ryan. And I texted her back, I said, are you connected with the university in Hickory? That's all I said. And she shot back, she said, yes. Her great-grandfather, Daniel Eford Ryan, supported Lenore College to the extent that around 1925 or so, they named the college Lenore Ryan College. And that was this woman's great-grandfather. She said, how do you know about the university, Lenore Ryan? I said, well, my grandmama and her sister were graduates. I have a number of cousins who are graduates of Lenore Ryan. And I'm from South Carolina. I'm a Lutheran. The world's not that big. And she was quite impressed and shocked that she would meet somebody on the dance floor that knew about Lenore Ryan. And to figure out with her last name, there may be a connection. And so that was pretty touching. Little closing here. You've seen it on t-shirts, may have seen it on coffee mugs, may have seen it on a license plate. When you get old, you stop. Whatever. You stop learning when you get old. You stop dancing. You stop piddling in the garden. No. In my ministry, in my work life, I worked with senior adult programs. And my take for working, this was before I was a senior adult. I came away with no, you don't stop learning. You don't stop dancing. You don't stop piddling in the garden when you get old. You get old when you stop learning. You get old when you stop dancing. You get old when you stop piddling in the garden. So I will leave that with you.